All right, so we are ready now to look at the user interface. And once we put together the user interface, we're going to then start invoking all of these classes, the view model, and of course, the user interface will include the RecyclerView, which will have layout manager and adapter and so forth. So now we are going to be looking at least this part of the equation. Let's go ahead and start. All right, so let me get rid of all of this for now, at least. Leave our main there, or main activity. I'm going to close down most of this. So let's go to a layout here. I'm going to go ahead and create a RecyclerView item. So I'm going to say new layout resource. I'm going to make this a linear layout as the root. I'm going to call this RecyclerView underscore item. Hit enter. There we go. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a text view like that. I'm going to make this match parent, and this is going to be wrap content like this. Give it an ID of text view. That's totally fine. And while I'm here, let's give it a background. I'm going to go into the Android namespace. I'm going to say color hello green, perhaps. That looks good. So we're not going for the most beautiful user interface here. We just want to make sure that things actually work. All right, very good. So let's see. And the next thing I'm going to show you to do here is we're going to create a new style. So there are times we want to style our widgets, be it a text view, edit text, whatever it is that we can put on screen, we can actually style it. But how do we do that? Well, you notice that we have a lot of different folders inside of our res here, but inside here we also have these values. We've seen colors, we've seen strings, and maybe a little bit dimensions. So if you click on dimensions, you see this is where we can create daemons. So in this case are dimensions that we can use in our code. Right, so this is fab margin 16 dp. We can create another dimension, say for instance border, and give it a value, so that just like we do with colors and strings, we can invoke it in code or in other XML files. Okay, so that's very handy. That way we can put everything that we want in one place as opposed to have it all over the place. So the same thing with styles. So click this styles XML. Styles XML, you notice here at the top, there's this base application theme. So this is what's governing the entire application. In fact, when you run this app right now, you will see all of these colors that we've seen before, right? In fact, these colors are being called from our colors XML, because you can see color, add color, color primary, add color, primary dark, and color accent there. Okay, so you can actually create a theme, a style as we call it. In this case, it was created for us, right? Every application has to have its own theme. And notice here also style, we can go and invoke different themes that come with Android. This case here is no action bar, and we can make sure that the window action bar is false, window title is true, meaning it will show the title of the screen. Okay, now the beauty here is that we can actually create our own style. So I can come down here and say style like that, and you must give a name because we need to call it somewhere to style whatever widget we want to style, or screen, doesn't matter. So in this case here, I can just call this no do title, something like that. Okay, now we're going to start customizing our style. So it's going to be an item. Okay, the first one is going to be Android layout width. Let's find, I want the width to be match parent. Okay, and then I'm going to say item name, in this case layout height, I want it to be about 26 dp. I can keep going. Item name text size, let's say about 24 sp. Let's see, items. So these are just attributes that we can add to any of our user interface widgets. And let's see, I want the style, text style like this. I want it to be bold, and let's say margin bottom. We can say we want about 6 dp. Let's say I want padding left to be about 8 dp. Okay, very good. So now we can call this style anywhere we want. In this case here, we're going to call it inside of our RecyclerView item. And look what we can do. I can say style. Look at that. I can invoke a style. Now there's a lot of styles we can invoke from Android namespace. In this case, we want to go to our style like this. And we want to say no do title. Look at that. Right away, it goes and fetches our style that we added here, which is no do title. So the item that will have this style is going to go ahead and say layout width is going to make it match parent, layout height 26 dp, and go from there. Okay, so next we're going to go to content main. Notice here we have all of this, the hello world. We don't need that. I'm going to get rid of that. And what I'm going to add, in fact, is going to be let's make it all inside like this. What I'm going to add here is going to be a RecyclerView like that. Okay. And let me make sure it is indeed downloaded. I'm going to download it just because it should probably work, but I like to download things myself. That way I don't have to depend on whatever the IDE does. Sometimes it doesn't work as we expect it to do. So I like to do that myself. Build successful. That's always good news. So we're back here. Let's go back to text here. Get rid of this. So width, I'm going to make this match parent. And height also is going to be match parent. Very good. And let me give an ID, of course. Just call this RecyclerView. Now I'm going to give a background to be Android color dark gray. Okay. All right, there we go. Now we're going to go back to our activity main here, because this is where we have our app bar and all of that stuff. What we're interested in here is our floating action button there. Now I've shown you before to go and get any icon that we want from our Android namespace. But check this out. I'm going to show you something real cool. If you click on the activity main XML and you go to file and say new, and let's go here to vector asset. All right. So click there and voila, all of a sudden you have all of this awesome interface here where you can actually go and fetch different kinds of vectors or images, if you will. Okay. So you can find clip arts, you can find local file, right? So if you have added your local files, you can do that. But we want the clip art as such. You can change the dimension, you can change the color, you can do all sort of things here. That's really cool. In fact, I want to change the color to white. So click here. I want this color there, white. Say choose. Look at that. The moment you do that, it actually makes it white. Okay, very cool. So what we want here is actually to go and find an icon. So I'm gonna click in this inside here, and voila. Once you do that, all of this content is available for you. There are all these different categories of items we can use. Look at that. That's very good, right? So what we want here really is the add button there. So I'm going to click this icon, and say okay. And there it is. And like I said, we want this to be white. And we can change any color we want, but white is good. I'm going to say next. Look at this. It's going to go ahead and add into our drawable. So we have it inside of our project. So I'm going to say finish like that. So now it's inside there. I can now come down here. Look at this. I can change instead of Android. I can say drawable like that. And I can say, there we go. And I can add the one that we just added. I see add black like this. All right, very cool. So we were able to put together real quick here our RecyclerView item XML. We added our content main XML. Of course, we make sure to add our RecyclerView there. We added the ID. And then we went ahead and created this nice style, which is going to be used in our text view. You saw it before, and there's this dimension here. We didn't do anything here, but at least you know you can put all of your dimensions that you're going to be using in your app. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all of this because we won't need them anymore. So in the next video, what we're going to be doing is create our RecyclerView adapter so that we can adapt the data to be shown on screen. I'll see you in a bit.